What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about having your South Node falling into your partner's 5th house in house in astrology. This is the house to do with all things creativity. It is those beginning stages in a relationship where things are more so romantic and playful and fun. It's all about joy and self-expression in those things. Just the pleasures of life, and especially to do with the more creative things, and talents can also be shown by the 5th house. Like people's passions that comes from the enjoyment that their inner child would really enjoy doing and being able to go through and experience. And generally having somebody's planets coming into your 5th house in SYNASTRY can make for a very nice and pleasant time, and it is more so light-hearted and playful, which can make things a lot of fun and very enjoyable while getting to know somebody and forming a bond and creating memories and experiences with them. And when it comes to having your partner's South Node coming into your 5th house, this is of course going to bring this feeling of familiarity between the two partners, because the South Node does show past life energy and connections between two people within a connection. So with the 5th house being really a very creative house, this is going to be very easy to be creative with this person and also to be romantic with them. And it can be very enjoyable and it can feel natural and comfortable, because there's this feeling of having known this person for a long time or from a time before. The only perhaps downside when it comes to the South Node placements in SYNASTRY is how there can be a feeling of stagnation between the two partners, because there is this sense of a comfort zone between them, and they could either fall into old mistakes or they could learn and transcend them and grow from them through this relationship, which not only comes with that energy and potential for evolving for both partners, but also that opportunity for a lot of joy and a lot of fun in this relationship. But when it comes to having your partner's South Node falling into your 5th house in SYNASTRY, this is going to bring in a sense of having a connection, a past connection with the partner in your relationship. And of course that can be felt through experiences to do with romance and things to do with creativity, as well as self-expression with your partner. For the 5th house person with the South Node person, and for the South Node person with the 5th house person. After all, this is the house of children, pleasure, and artistic and creative endeavors, as well as to do with love affairs. And so the South Node person and the 5th house person could have shared a relationship in the past life to do with these things. And so for that reason, for the South Node person and the 5th house person, they could have shared a past life connection that could have been really centered in or had to do with what they created in their relationship between each other, and also something romantic and something playful and even maybe in some way artistic that lends itself to their connection now being a very fun one, and also feeling very comfortable when it comes to things to do with creating a sense of joy and creating something in their relationship. And it's possible that they trigger memories or certain kind of behaviors or patterns in each other that lead to that strong sensing of destiny between the two of them, and they can feel very attracted to each other, or they can be very drawn to each other. This can be why. And there can be this sense of natural ease and enjoyment when they are together. And even though there can be a lot of pleasure associated with that, with this being a South Node, there is an encouragement to moving towards the North Node, which would fall in the 11th house. And a lot of lessons can be derived from this relationship between the two individuals, and they can have to do with teaching them a lot to do with moving towards the 11th house in relationships, as this will help with being able to progress and also grow on their life journey as individuals. So they're going to find new ways to be able to express the 5th house things through this relationship. This placement is just going to bring with it an opportunity to revisit and also resolve any kind of past life issues around things to do with the 5th house. So that can also be children and of course, romance, and also enjoyment and joy and creativity and talents and self-expression. And they will either come together and be able to work on these things together and grow, or they could also find a healthier way of handling this on an individual level, and it can actually lead to them learning how to move on. Because with this past life sense in this connection, there is this sense of having an opportunity to also experience healing in some way, and using what the relationship teaches them to make more informed decisions and choices and have an all-around healthier present because of the elements of healing and the focus on growing in these areas. Now, between the 5th house person and the South Node person, they can have this feeling of fast friends or strong attraction to each other, and it can be formed quite easily, and it can be quite enjoyable, and they can go from being friends to being more than friends, being lovers, with this synastry between the two of them, because it can bring that sense of an instant connection, and that feeling of any kind of connection that they do form deepens rather quickly into a romantic one. And since the South Node is all about carrying over karmic baggage from the past life, any kind of issues that may have gone down in the past life which have not yet been resolved, such as any kind of emotional abuse or any other types of hurts, are going to resurface in the relationship so that they can resolve them, acknowledge them, heal them, and move past them. And so the synastry brings with it an opportunity for being able to experience healing and break any kind of negative cycles that may have been formed. Not to mention that the 5th house is also about children. So both the 5th house person and the South Node person could have had some kind of history with children, or they could have had children in a past life. And whether it's about parenting or to do with responsibility and emotional things, it can be a chance to really address any kind of past life unresolved issues about parenting when they meet again in this life. And also the 5th house has to do with love affairs and romance, and it can also show that in a past life they could have had some kind of a love affair or some kind of a romantic relationship that may have meant that there was unfinished business, and with them meeting and coming together in this relationship in this lifetime, they could be getting the chance to also resolve unresolved or address any kind of issues to do with that. Even if it could be that they couldn't be together in the past life in more of a romantic way, then they get the opportunity to be able to be together in this life in a way that's going to be more fulfilling. It's going to mean that they are able to address any necessary lessons around this and move on, giving some kind of closure to that feeling of unfinished business. Because another big thing to do with the South Node is that the South Node can also bring with it lessons about letting go and being able to release things and moving on from things, having had learned some kind of lesson from them. And if it was a difficult or problematic experience between the two individuals in the past life, this can be an opportunity for being able to recognize any kind of issues that they may have and also resolve them without having to repeat any kind of unhealthy or unproductive issues in a relationship. At the same time, also prioritizing their own growth on an individual level. And the synastry can bring with it a lot of feeling of nostalgia, and the South Node person can feel for the 5th house person a very strong romantic attraction, and they can easily feel very comfortable with them, like they have a deep connection that they really enjoy. And with that, they could really have this creative attraction. They could want to be able to create something with the 5th house person and view them as the ideal person to be able to do that with. There can be the strong pull between them and the 5th house person, and this could be children, but they may have a hard time resisting their attraction to the 5th house person in this synastry with this placement. They may even be very drawn to the 5th house person because there's a sense of creative and fun energy that the 5th house person brings into their life that they really feel like they need or they really appreciate. And for the South Node person, they can feel very uplifted in the presence of the 5th house person, and they can feel very inspired, and they can enjoy a lot of activities that they can do with the 5th house person. Fun things to do with hobbies and different activities and pursuing some kind of creative project together. And on the other hand, the 5th house person may also find that they really enjoy themselves and enjoy their time with the South Node person in this relationship. There can be this very strong synergy, especially creatively, between the two of them. And with the synastry, they can be very drawn to each other in a very powerful way when it comes to their connection. For the 5th house person, there can be the sense that the South Node person brings out this very playful side in them, and they really enjoy each other's company. And with the 5th house person, they can feel this wanting to be able to participate and be able to do the creative and fun activities and things with the South Node person. It may feel very comfortable and very easy and effortless with the South Node person for the 5th house person. When it comes to their feelings for the South Node person, they can feel very strong, particularly romantic feelings for the South Node person, but with the synastry, it can make it easier to express through their love and through their affection that they give to the South Node person. And generally, having the synastry can make it so that they are a great collaboration or a great duo when it comes to creating anything or when it comes to being able to work on things. And they can find a lot of joy, that it brings a lot of joy to them. And it can also be a great source of inspiration for them both, because being in each other's presence can kind of heighten their sense of creativity and artistic energies. Even with the healing elements in this relationship, for the 5th house person, they may find that their relationship with the South Node person encourages or brings out a feeling of wanting to explore and heal certain parts of themselves that they may have not known about or known were there and needed to be healed. And that can be things to do with love, things to do with tapping into their talents that they may have not known were there, and it can even be to do with their self-expression and creativity. And this can have to do with their inner child and that feeling of childlike sense of wonder and exploration, and just other forms of entertainments that bring joy and relaxation to them. This synastry can evoke and bring out that youthful spirit in one or both of them. And when it comes to any challenges that can be experienced with the synastry, it can still have to do with potential for a lot of drama or tumult if there are any negatives. Being the house of the fire sign Leo, the Leo influence here can bring that sense of warmth into their relationship and passion and fun and confidence and being self-assured, as well as their talents being expressed, and just a playful, youthful spirit with a lot of, at times, often grand and very romantic and heartfelt experiences, especially in love. Well, that does it for this video on having your South Node in your partner's 5th house in synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.